Aloha Kohala. It is 3 o'clock here on March 2nd, 2022, and you're listening to KNKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala. Hey, guess what time it is? It's time for Intuitive Talk Story. I will be here, Eila Allgood, with Michál, who is coming in the door as we speak. And we will have a lively conversation based on what we feel is in the energy field these days at this time. And she comes in with beautiful, brightly colored, that looks like a African design, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that is
Aloha.
aloha. That is beautiful. I love the vibrancy, and it has, it's so I'll describe to people because it's lifting me up already. It has all of these spirals and all these different earth colors, but yet, oh my God, it's so alive, and so is your necklace.
This is actually from Senegal.
Go ahead, bring it in.
Senegalese piece, and these go with it. These we got when we were in Senegal, bringing my partner's younger brother back from Guinea to Senegal, then to America. So,
Yeah, you got the glow. Thank you for bringing that in.
You're welcome. I just came out of session work, so I literally just skated in from session work straight over here. And
So you kind of flew over.
I flew over in the dimensions to join you here today, and I'm so
Excellent.
grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here, and for I know that you were rushing, so.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
but here I am. Aloha.
Yeah. So here we are, and we're in this moment, and there's an awful lot going on. So we talked very briefly on the phone. I've been noticing what's going on in the world that we are being fed in the news media and places like that. And it's really got me questioning like what we're reading and what we're hearing. Because one of the things I've noticed over the past couple of years is, as you know, the narrative has been very strong about fear about this virus. I don't even want to give it too much energy. So I was looking at the news today, and now all these mandates are falling away. The Safe Travels program will be ending in a few weeks, so people can come and go to Hawaii without any problem. It's not taking up as much space as all the fear COVID stuff did. And noticing that, and I want other people to notice that, because we really want to give the space to the celebration of the positivity that's going on right now. That's where I'm starting.
Okay, that's a great place to start. Well, I'm going to start with February 22nd, which was a great activation and an entry into a new time, kind of a setting in of where you want to go. And we're still left with the same thing that we were in, I perceive, as we were 2 years ago when all this started, which is, what do you want to choose? Fear or love? You're just going to get it in a different format. You're going to get a different narrative, a different storyline, but the question remains the same. Do you want to embody fear, or do you want to release what's no longer serving, dismantle the hardware programming per se of your bodily computer and let it function in its optimum form? The choice is literally each and every one of our own to make at this time.
And it's kind of every moment of the day.
Every moment of the day.
And a lot has to do with how our thinking is going. You know, are we thinking ourselves into more fear-based what's happening, or are we moving towards love? I mean, it's either really kind of either one way or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah. And I don't know that everyone at every moment that we're conscious of it.
Most
I think
people are definitely not.
Yeah.
In order to be conscious of it, I mean, I can only speak from experience.
Yeah.
Gosh,
That's
I know
what
how
we
much
do.
work I've done.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know how much I've worked to get where I'm sitting in myself, feeling the way I feel. So if you're not doing that amount of work, it's not happening. It's
And
really
the-
simple.
And work meaning what for you? What has that been?
And exactly. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with, numerous clients this week. And I'll tell you the word of the month. Here's the March word: implement. I've been talking with numerous clients, and one said, I've been doing this spiritual stuff forever. I've been doing this forever. And so in my mind, my first thought was, well, if you've been doing this forever, you've listened to it all. You've heard every talk, you've gone to every workshop. So at this point, you must really have a deep grasp on what's happening and feel pretty in control of your vessel. No, that's not what's happening. Why? Because you've not been doing it forever. You've been listening to stuff forever. Have you actually been implementing what those people tell you in their talks? I say the same things again and again and again to people. And then they call me later and tell me someone else told the same exact thing as a revelation. They call me with like a revelation. Oh, I just heard this fabulous. That's what
Like for the first time.
Yeah, as if you just heard it for the first.
Yeah.
I've been telling you that, well, every week.
Right.
But we don't click it. We don't click it in. We're hearing it. You're like, but I listen to things every day. But are you activating and implementing what you hear? And are you applying it to your life? Or are you just a Sunday churchgoer?
Right. And, I know there's like serial workshop people. Like they're always going to another spiritual workshop. And I'm like, after a while, I've been to a few in my life. It's just more of the same. It's in a different, it's a different form. And it's an opportunity that we have when we're in that kind of workshop environment to explore things that maybe you don't explore at home. But if you don't take it home and do something with it, well, then you go to another workshop and then you explore it with these strangers because it's easier to practice with strangers, let's face it, than it is when you're emotionally charged with your family or your friends.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to take what we're learning, what we're embodying, the things you talk about all the time. Just look at your own words. What do I talk about all the time? Do I do it? Am I living it? Am I embodying that? Am I living the concepts that I hear? If I'm, I know I listen to him all the time. Well, then I would expect that you would be implementing that person's wisdom all the time, if that's something you're doing all the time.
Right.
So, and what does that mean by all the time? So back to what do I do? So go within. And this is why I go, it's really simple. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and breathe. Go inside and see what you're really feeling. That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to look at what's really happening. I was talking to another client yesterday, and they were talking about how, I just can't get out of it. I just get back to I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough. And I'm just, I keep going, well, they didn't look at what I did, and no one's looking at me. And, I'm nobody. See, everybody else is getting more attention.
Yeah.
I said, so are you using your tools? No.
Yeah.
Are you meditating like we talked about? No.
Yeah.
Have you gone in and disconnected, removed energies, cut cords, and given yourself what you need, like we've talked about? No. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, how difficult would it be to now say all you need to do is close your eyes. Close your eyes and just go inside. And put your hands on your body. Breathe. And let go. Release what's not serving you. Disconnect from all the information that you are perceiving is coming at you, because they're literal connectors. I can't stress this enough. I mean, really, I say it all the time. There's nobody out there. There's nowhere out. There's nowhere out but in.
Right.
It's all the same thing. And what I'm saying is the only place to get the answer is within the self, connected only to source, light, energy, and the earth. The earth pathway is our energy to release what does not serve us, to process our emotions. Everything in my emotional body, it goes down my grounding into the earth. I am not connecting, literally, to anything. On the left or the right, you can speak these words. Nothing is coming into my body. I release anything coming in because I connect to God's source light only, and that's what comes into my information. And I'm not giving my power, my energy to anything or anyone. I'm disconnected from giving power away on the right, so that you're maintaining the power within you. This entire game is, where are you giving your power away? It's not unlike your house. If you have electricity, if you just have stuff plugged in, it's just draining low-level power. A little USB, low-level power. An extension cord thing, it's on, low-level power. You think, I'm not losing power. Nothing's on. The lights aren't on. Yeah, but you got all this stuff plugged in, and it's draining power all day long. You have to actually unplug everything, not just the lights that you can see, but everything else. Unplug so that you are actually not leaching power out of your energetic system, because that's what's actually happening. And when we're feeling fear, it's because you're hooking into it. You just watched that television show. You just read that newspaper article. You just plugged in to the information. Now you're running the fear in. You just plugged in to, oh no, there's going to be a problem. Oh no, there's going to be something wrong. Now I'm giving my energy to that, and I've plugged into that. So I'm literally just a highway. Fear's coming in. I'm producing anxiety. Anxiety's going out the other way to, oh no, to my detrimental creation. That's what I'm doing in that moment.
So it's really, I mean, what you're saying is when you take in something that you hear that's relating to fear or anxiety, and then you kind of put that out there, you amplify it, you feed it. It's not serving you, and it's certainly not serving the world around you.
Well, and even that's two things actually you brought up. One would be actually feeding it or amplifying it to others, which might be a physical talking kind of thing. But another one is internal. Just me sitting here feeling, oh no, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
God, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, geez, anything's going to go wrong at any time. Just me feeling that, sitting there, I am like the house. It's electricity. I'm just cooking in and sending energy, like leaching energy out to that thought. I'm giving my energy to that reality.
Right.
I'm not owning my energy at that moment. In order for, so that's our goal, is to own your energy. Where am I actually putting my energy? It's mine. It's your currency. Energy is currency. I mean, in essence, right? It's, I can give you energy. I give this, and I have energy to do this, energy to do that. Where do you want to put it? So do you want to put all your energy into the fear basket or into this basket or anxiety basket? Is that serving your life? Is that helping you to create more on a daily basis? Probably not.
Well, and I think a lot of us justify it, well, based on, let's say for relationships, somebody is in our life and they're going through a lot, and you're there with them and you're holding space for them. And it's like, well, I'm worried for her. I'm worried for him. What if? And we don't realize that by going down that path, that we're draining them and we're not helping anybody. No. And it would be so much more beneficial to really, to have sovereignty and to be in your own space and honor where they are and talk to them if they're open about tools and things that they could do for themselves, and then let them go.
And here's another, if you do want to help them, you could go a step further and actually vision them where you'd like to see them. Because I can see that, she's just going through a hard time. She's just feeling insecure right now, but she's really amazing. You know what? I'm just going to vision her in her amazing self. Whenever I think of that person, I think, I just see her radiating in her gifts, being totally enlivened, having her family life feel good. And whenever I think about that person, I'm just going to imagine that, because now I'm praying for them. Now I'm actually creating with them. I'm helping them. I certainly don't want you to worry about me, right? Sending your worry to me isn't going to help me. I'm going to have to field your worry, and deal with your worry. Thanks a lot. What I love.
It's like trash.
Yeah.
It's like throwing some trash
Don't
on
throw
somebody's
some trash
aura.
Over me. In fact, I'm like, Eila, whenever you think about me, just think free, alive, healthy, and vibrant. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because that thought is energy, and that energy goes your direction if that's who I'm thinking of. So absolutely. And
we want to empower one another and see ourselves in our best capacity. The universe doesn't hear the word no. And when we're creating, we forget this. We say, oh, I don't want to be broke.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to work. They don't hear that I don't want to. They just hear broke. So
we have to emphasize what we're looking for in the positive.
Want?
Yeah.
I want to experience being rich and vibrant, abundance, health. I am healthy. I am experiencing grace. I am living my best life. Whatever phrases, and see yourself in that next place. In order to get there, you need to see it. And anyone who plays sports, I mean, if you play team sports, what do? We're going to look at the playbook. We're going to, like a football game. We're going to tackle. We're going to throw it here. We're going to throw it here. That's going to get us over here. We should be able to get a touchdown like that. Boom. We've got it mapped out. We see our play. You got the play? Let's go out there and get it. Life is like that. Energy.
Yeah.
When energetics, we're not, and when I say meditate, by the way, I don't mean just sit and breathe and do nothing, although that's a form of meditation that's very valuable, just presence. However, I do believe that we have to utilize tools. And for me, there's real energy tools. Call them Jedi tools. You have to protect, clear. You are actually managing your energy. It's a whole world, just like this physical thing you perceive. It's actually more important because the physical world is just where your manifesting shows up. It all happens here last. So when you actually get a pain in your body, that happened last. You did something in the ethereal realms first. The emotional body, spiritual bodies were affected, and the physical bodies last. So that means it's of utmost importance where I'm putting my energy, how I'm choosing to create, and doing that internal work, because the internal work is going to determine my external reality.
Right. So if somebody starts to have heart problems, the heart problems didn't start the day that they had symptoms. It goes back to maybe there were some things going on energetically, emotionally for years. I mean, a lot of the more chronic or more serious ailments that any of us have or get, they don't just appear overnight. It's a long time coming. And just like it took a long time to get there, we can undo it without maybe just taking a pill or having a surgery.
Well,
Not that you don't do that.
Undo anything by doing those two things. You just bandage it, just to be clear.
Yeah, Band-Aids.
You're not undoing anything. You're bandaging.
And you might buy yourself a little time with whatever it is. But if you don't change how you got there in the first place,
and it's
might
really,
not be healed.
If you think of it this way, I mean, it's just real practical. Take out the emotional part. If you bought a Ferrari, are you going to put like crappy gas in it?
With a little water?
A little water. Am I going to it doesn't need much. You know what? I don't even need to
little ice cream.
Let the mold roll in there, a little fungus. The ants are in there. You leave your food around. The ants, the roaches start crawling in there.
Nice.
You're like, nah, this is cool. I'll just leave it like this. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's our bodies. If you've never cleansed or done any proactive thing, it's your Ferrari, and now it's looking a whole lot like a jalopy. So, you're gonna want to get in there and do something. And so food it's all the same thing, just explained on a different level. But it's the same thing. So if we look at the physical body and you think, oh, well, if I put a bunch of Twinkies in here and a bunch of sugar and a bunch of things, and now I've got diabetes, now I've got fungus, now I'm depressed.
I feel horrible.
And I've got candida.
Yeah.
Because now I've got all this sugar, which attracts bugs.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is important because energetically, it's no different. So I've created an environment that bugs love, funguses love. They want to eat all that. So they're like, they're all get in there. And then, so now I'm depressed. I've got bugs and fungus. It's a great low vibrational breeding ground. So the only way I can change that is by cleansing that system out, by removing and pulling toxins out, and by then alkalizing that system, which would be giving it greens and vegetables, removing anything white out of the diet, anything that converts to sugars. And then I'm going to have this alkaline environment, which now those bugs can't exist in that environment. They don't like it. It's too high for them. They're like, we hate greens.
We're going somewhere else.
Sugar. I'm going to go somewhere else where there's sugar. And they leave. They literally die or leave because you've created no longer an environment for that vibration to live. So energetically, you're doing the same thing. If you aren't cleansing your energy, you're creating, spider webs that you had with so-and-so. I had that fight with so-and-so the other day. Then I walked over with the gas station. I saw that lady. Oh, I haven't cleansed any of that stuff. It's just in my body car. Now it's molding. Basically.
Yeah.
And so you are cleansing your energetic system because you are a Ferrari. And you want it to run
Every
like a
person
Ferrari.
Out there is, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
You.
We all start.
Proverbial you.
Yeah, we all start with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can turn ourselves into a jalopy, or we can we can give what we need and become fine-tuned spaceship vessels and run this body and understand it like you would your vehicle and have knowledge of it, so it's working for you at the optimum level, and the vibration is in a high state, body, mind, spirit, so that now it gets fun.
Well, now you're making choices from a healthy, strong, balanced place rather than from a sick, depressed, sad and lonely. You know, I mean, I find that when I'm in a more higher vibrational place, the world opens up in that space. Where in that lower place, everything feels just more. It's like walking through mud.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Molasses.
who wants to walk through?
Molasses.
Yeah, molasses, dirty molasses.
At the bottom of the well. And that's, to me, shame. The energy of shame is like dirty molasses at the bottom of the well.
That's like the lowest
it's
vibration,
the lowest vibration,
isn't it?
It is, shame.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there, if you are still grappling with shame, I want to say to you, you are worthy. It is time to choose now to embody that worthiness, because that is what is being offered to each and every one of us at this time. And in my truth and reality, we are all being presented with great opportunity to move into higher love and awareness and light. And now is the time. There is no other. So choose, wherever you're sitting out there, choose now that you're going to rise another rung up. Like, I don't need to sit in this anymore. I don't have to buy that story any longer. I don't need to play out that drama any longer, that role. It's all been a story. And the stories we tell ourselves, we tell one another, let it go. Feel it, let it go. It's not your story anymore. Unless you want it to be. It's a choice. You get to choose. You know, you can hold on to it if you want, but hey, it doesn't sound,
Well, you
lighten the load.
You bring up a point about stories, because I think I'm running a story right now. And I'm not sure what to do with that. And maybe talking about it with you will help somebody listening out there, because, none of us are perfect. So we deal with what we deal with. So recently I ran into somebody I know in town, and actually I ran into them a few months ago, and he heard that I opted not to get the vaccine, and he didn't want to be near me, and he said, "Oh, it must be really hard for you. Your friend's not coming over," and I said, "I'm good. I'm fine. I feel great, and I wish you the best." Like, I didn't want to engage with that for very long. I said, I'm doing great. I mean, I feel like I've had a whole new world open up to me through this process, right? And then I saw the person maybe a few days ago, and now they are embracing me. "Oh, are you hugging?" "Sure, I'll hug you." "Okay." And I'm finding myself feeling a bit conflicted. Like, do I just fall back in with the friend, or have I moved on? And, it's not that I'm blaming them for being bad, because from a higher perspective, I saw how fear was controlling so many people. And I got that. I could see it very clearly when the person was in fear. But now he's not in fear. And I'm like, I'm just like on this kind of like, what is it? Where am I going? You know what I mean?
I do. And here's what I would say. Some of the things have come up around that conversations this week too. Similar but different. But what I would say is everyone's on their own journey, A. B, you don't really have to do anything. If you're following your natural, organic flow that you are enlivened by, and you're listening to your guidance, you literally are just going to be wherever you need to be.
Wherever I need to
wherever
be.
you need to be. So you don't have to do anything.
That's a really good point.
Like, I'll give you an example. I was teaching at a place in town during this whole thing, and it was a non-mask situation, and it was very beautiful and amazing and very open and loving. And two people I do know for many, many years who were in that energy, more in the fear, and they were fully masked outside, about to come to part of this thing. And I was watching myself outside of myself. But
Yeah.
I was really involved in just being present with where I was. So I was deeply involved in a conversation with somebody as those people came up. And I was talking to this person. My natural energy was just continued to be like, oh, I didn't have time for those people.
Right.
My energy, I was watching it kind of outside of myself, observing it, but I was just continuing my flow. And my flow literally led me to like continue a conversation. One more person there. I'm talking to people on my left. They're on my right. I know they're there, but they literally kind of like end up moving right by me and just right in the, like they pass completely neck by me.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Yeah.
I'm just not in the same energetic vibration. We're not really we don't have a connection point in this moment.
Right.
And
At that moment.
that's okay. And I'm just following my flow and they're following theirs, and so be it. So we don't have to do anything about it. And another point I'll make with that is we contend in 3D to choose to be judgment. Judgment is a thing America does a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Judge her. And, oh, she's doing this. And you're not making judgments unless you have energy on it. If you are judging, then you have energy. Like, oh, what is she doing? That's energy, right? You're thinking something negative about somebody. But if I'm making an observation that, Eila and I don't have anything we need to talk about today. I don't feel any resonance. I'm going to go on my way. Bye.
It's an observation.
It's an observation,
Right.
and it's me tuning in to my highest good in the
Right.
moment. I have no energy about Eila,
Right.
whether she's bad or good enough for me, or
Right.
any of that. It's
Right.
just we are not in the flow today. Like that's just not our flow. We don't have anything for one another. There's no resonance energetically. And like when you meet someone and you feel that, oh my God, I'm so excited to meet you. Oh my God, we totally need to hang out.
Yeah.
You feel a resonance. You feel there's something
Right.
here for us. We have something to share. There's a reflection that's alive and necessary, and I'm learning something, receiving or seeing something. Because if we go back to, this goes back to, again, foundational stuff, which is there's nobody out there. So who is that guy? He's a character in your movie,
Right.
and it's your movie. So if there's nobody out there, then you're just experiencing what vibrationally is in alignment to your highest good in each and every moment without judgment and with allowing and listening
Yeah.
to guidance.
The allowing,
source.
I think you're saying the allowing and listening rather than trying to figure something
It's
out.
not in your head.
There's nothing to figure out.
Spirit is
Yeah.
fluid,
Yeah.
and it's also in the moment, and we don't own it. So like that's really the difference between power and like what are the path of, it's the service to self or service to others, you can call it that, but in essence we're really, am I a vessel of the infinite life that flows through all things, which is you and me and everything that is, or am I trying to own something? Like well, I have to figure it out. Who the heck are you that you're so important that you need to do it? I mean, like, right?
Right. And actually getting into that space of thinking takes me out of that being a vessel and just allowing energy to move through me and allow thoughts to move through me rather than saying, oh, here's a thought. Let me harp on this for like 6 hours till I figure it out. No, it's not serving me. And if it's not serving me, it's not serving anyone.
And you bring up kind of a brain thing, just in general, which comes back to like work and how put in. We said, if we're not putting in work, what do you do to get there?
Right.
So another thing I've done a lot of is left-right brain connection activities in my life since I was a child. But doing things that activate both the left and the right brain, because the average person is right-handed. The average person is in their left brain the majority of the time because this particular society does not offer you a lot of right brain activities. It gives you a lot of left brain activity. You have to look
Doesn't
for
honor it quite as much
it
either.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So music, dance, movement, drumming, these things we engage in are actually creating right-left brain connections because you're doing something on the left, something on the right, something on the top, something on the bottom. You have to navigate all those things. Your brain's firing. You're making new neural pathways. So engaging in something where you can start creating new neural pathways is incredibly valuable to your spiritual journey because it helps you open and expand and see more because you're opening your brain. Because the thing is, we aren't told that much here in the spaceship. We were just talking about your Ferrari.
Yeah.
Probably if we don't know very much about it. So literally it's been stagnant. The pineal gland's not firing like it should. The calcium things have been calcified. You have to unlock all that stuff. You have to break it off. You have to give nutrition and give things so that the system starts to breathe and can operate. Like if it's just been sitting there forever, it's rusty. I mean, think of it like that.
Yeah, you gotta
lube it up a little. We gotta get some juice in there.
Absolutely. Well, and as you're talking about that, for the past few days, I've been doing a lot. I write a lot of poetry, and I've been putting it together in a book, and that's extremely left brain for me. It's like I constantly trying to figure out how to do that, and I feel like I've been a little bit off balance into the thinking, figuring that out, and that's why I'm trying to figure out things that I usually just go with the flow. So that's really an insight. It's an insight for me, but it's it's a grander insight about if you do a lot of work where you're thinking and you're focused with your left brain, find the time, find ways to balance that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And find ways to maybe put on your other brain and approach what you're doing. So instead of approaching it like you've been, because you're talking about your art, your poetry, your beautiful pourings of like soul essence. So how about, it's like step away, go have pie per se, like actually that was from what was that from?
Is that from a movie?
Men in Black. And there's a part where they go let's go have pie, which means take your mind off something so you think about something else, which also helps, and then you have a revelation because you're not single pointedly focused upon getting the answer.
Right.
And then the answer comes, right? So kind of that mentality. But then go back to your organization and think, you know what? I'm not going to organize like this. I'm just going to put on some music. I'm just going to like open up my mind. I'm going to stretch a little, and then I'm just going to look at this. I'm going to look at it and just see what's alive. Like try seeing it from a different brain so that you're not just trying to single pointedly focus. I've seen that a lot lately too with some of my clients where it's just literally when I look at their energy, it feels to me like I go from really big immediately goes real wide till I see them like one person just staring at a little tiny piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And the devil's in the details.
Yes. Yeah, and I've never been detail oriented. I mean, we all can do what we need to do at times, right? But it's not something like I derive energy from. It's not fun for me. It's just something I do when I need to.
Details can be fabulous. No, nothing about those details are important.
Yeah.
We can get overly focused. So it's that, like you said in the beginning, finding that balance. You're saying, I think I'm getting a little over on the other side.
Yeah. I got a little lost in that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Women's Voices on KNKR LP 96.1 FM Kohala with your host Eila Allgood every Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Please tune in and hear some sensational songs and spoken words by female artists right here in Kohala and around the world. I've been doing this show for 7.5 years and it's still fun. You can also stream it on www.knkr.org or tune in to 96.1 FM.
The Kohala Wednesday Night Market returns to the Kohala Village Hub for a special Mardi Gras night on March 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. The community is invited to shop locally produced food and crafts and enjoy entertainment by Cole Fuertes. Also, food trucks will be cooking up some local grinds. Local community police will be there to register families for Keiki ID. There will also be information booths by Kohala Food Hub, Kohala Future Farmers of America, Kahua Pa'amua, and the Tool Library. That's Kohala Wednesday Night Market on Wednesday, March 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Kohala Village Hub. See you there.
Welcome back. You're listening to KNKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala. This is Eila Allgood with
Michál Anna.
an Intuitive Talk Story. We are having a lively conversation, as always.
Yes,
we were laughing in between. Yeah, so where do we want to go next? I wrote all kinds of things down because I am in a left brain place today.
Well, we were talking about activating our brain. What do you got on that list? What do you got?
Oh, I have radiant heart, unconditional love, transformational time, look at the bigger picture, take pleasure in the simple moments. I wrote down the word interdimensional, and then I wrote stuff about, the just how things are changing.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that brings up a few things to me. Like what you were just saying, kind of where we started, this whole new section of time we're in, where we really have the opportunity to peel away. We've been, many of you have been already deeply peeling away. It's kind of like the way you have people who've been doing this a long time, peeling it away. And, on the slow, we've been all kind of, boy, it's finally happening. And then you have a lot of people who just really kind of woke up in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And just went, it's literally like you got turned on. Hi, time to wake up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people have been going through the massive peel away. And I'm sorry, I want to just have compassion for all of you. It's deep and it's intense and it's fast and it's a lot at once. I know. There's a lot. There's a ton.
Right.
And this whole story is, here we are on the radio. So I'm just going to say that it's basically, there's so much more, right? There's just so much more. So just know that as we spiral and go through each layer of our own personal peel away, ego death, just more expansion, more connection to our greater and higher selves, and more love and unity gets to flow through us. And ultimately, we are all being tested right now. If you're even aware of that, we're all being tested, and it's a loop. If I can give you a hint, it's a loop. They're loops. We are all looping.
What do you mean
When
you say that?
You've been reincarnating for many, many moons, and you can think of it this way: you have all different stories, all different characters, same loop.
Different genders, different
situations,
ethnicities, different planets. I mean, it
but
could be all
no,
kinds
I'm
of
talking
things.
Earth. I'm just talking Earth right now. We're speaking Earth
All right.
incarnations. I'm talking about this particular loop because it's of value and importance, because we're actually ending this 26,550 year loop, which has been an enslaved cycle here on planet Earth, and is now an opportunity for ascension and release of all that. So that particular cycle has been a loop. And so each soul has had their own pain, trauma loops that you have activated, and it's wherever you fell. Wherever that took you down within this cycle, somewhere we all went dark because it's been dirty, dark, and traumatic here, like molasses at the bottom of the well. We've all felt it.
Yeah.
And at some point we lost it in some incarnation. That loop of what took you down to forget God on some level is what will play again to try and get you to forget God again. But the truth is, we are the light, and it is we hold steadfast to shining our light, claiming our power, and knowing I am love, I am sovereign, I am free, claiming those things energetically within the self, because that's the real game, and that's what determines this whole thing out there. So if we go back to that beginning point, turn that television off. Just turn it off. Where do you want to put your energy? It's good to know about certain things, know what's happening. I'm not saying don't be uninformed.
Right.
Be informed to as much as you kind of need to be. Yeah, I know things are happening. There are things at play. Let's be aware. But let's not give it energy. Are you seeing it outside when you go to work today, right now? I mean,
Right.
what are you engaging with in your day-to-day right now? Is that right in front of you, alive, or is it something, a fear that could happen in the future? Most of the things we're experiencing of anxiety are happening in our future thoughts and past. You're afraid of something that will happen later.
Right.
It's not happening now. So if you can get into, I am here now, simple exercise. I'm at the counters here. I see a light. There's my cup. This is glass. Oh, it feels good in my hands. Bringing myself present just into this moment, here and now, because nothing is wrong. Right here and now, all is well. And I can tell myself that, and I can breathe into this moment and know that I get to choose where I put my energy.
I remember when we were first told we needed to stay home, I would walk around and look at the palm trees and the sky and the ocean, and I'm like, everything's beautiful. Like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Like, I know there's this story going on out there, and I'm not negating other people's experiences, but in that moment, everything was fine. And I think we lose sight of that sometimes. I know a lot of people do, who get caught up in watching news and going to bed, is that they see all this horror, and then they try to go to sleep, and then they have nightmares, and it just perpetuates it, rather than doing like what you say. It's like, okay, I'm aware that something's going on somewhere, and it's not too nice, or it's not pleasant for somebody, and I send them love, and I honor that I'm here now, and I have something to drink, and I have something to eat, and it's sunny out, or it's raining out, or the trees are swaying, and I can breathe the air. All of the simple things really in life that we get to experience. When you were talking about we've all lived very many lives, I watched a really interesting program on reincarnation, and it followed a story of a little boy who, from the time he was born, seemed to be talking about another dad and his old dad, and his old life. And he was, little, like 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 years old. And what the story ultimately shared, and I'm getting tingly from this, and only the mother and the grandmother believed the child because there were such clear things. But their belief was that he was his mother's brother died in a car accident, very careless driving, drunk kind of thing, and had a lot of anger issues. And this little boy was starting to have anger issues. And the mother and the grandmother were able to work with him because they understood this wasn't just about him. This was the soul of this other man. And it was going to go on. He was going to have a different choice and different opportunities in this life because of all that awareness. And it was just so, I don't know, it just really gets me the goosebumps going, because it felt very honest and true to me. It just didn't feel like some crazy TV show. And it just got me to think about, we're all working through things from other times and other places, and it's important to honor that in yourself and in one another. Somebody who's acting out and behaving horribly over there, they're on something. They're on some kind of a journey, and I can't judge them as right or wrong. They got to do what they got to do.
That's the truth for all of us, because the truth is we all come from wound and pain, and we're all just souls on a journey, and nobody really got more info than anyone else. And I mean, we kind of all like stumbled through this thing. So we have to have deep compassion. And that's the joy of letting go of our own wounding. It enables us to have deeper compassion, because honestly, the judgment leaves. There is no judgment anymore in that field.
Well, when you really look at your own stuff and you heal whatever needs to be healed, when you look at somebody else, you don't see somebody who's bad.
Right.
You just see someone who's on their journey and they're in their process.
Or in their pain, or because I felt it too.
Yeah, maybe I was there last month or 10 years ago, whatever.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Because it's because, and it's the truth for all of us. The more we see in ourselves, the more you can see it in others. And you can go, I can see that you've done that. Oh, I can relate.
Yeah.
Because you've been willing to face your own pain and face your own self and be truthful with it, then you can see that truth in others. And often, which has gotten me in trouble many a time, I mean, how many incidents can I say of just, I really am coming from, I feel it's a good place. I'm just like, kind of like for me, because of that site, it's kind of like, something on your face is how it is for me. Like, well, that's probably just because you're the mother issues and insecurity stuff. That's probably where that comes up.
Right.
And there's someone else that's like, oh my God, what, you think I'm insecure? You think I'm, oh my God. And I'm like, no, I mean that in love. Like that if you know what you got to work with, then you can dismantle it. That's how I think. Not everyone
Right.
thinks
Not
that
everybody
way.
wants to face it in that moment.
Exactly.
So
not
you may
everyone's-
get the pushback,
Right.
but they actually may be able to hear that later. Like they may play that tape that you said tomorrow or next month or next year, or maybe not, or they hear it from another place at another time and then they can hear it. It's all in time, right? I mean,
Sure.
timing is such a big deal. You know, what I can hear about myself today is very different than maybe 30 years ago.
Of course. And so that
Yeah.
goes back to how much work we're willing to do on ourselves and how much we're willing to peel away.
Mm-hmm.
How much are we willing to see of ourselves? How much of that do we want to explore? And it is a choice. And we're not all in the same place. We're not all in the same, it's a river, you know, instead of it
Yeah.
being like, it's not a better than. And that's what people miss a lot. They're like, you know, we do this hierarchy thing here in the planet Earth.
Yeah,
TV.
yeah. Like,
And
well,
it's
I'm
rea-
ahead of you,
Yeah, it's
or
not like
she's
that.
ahead of me,
Right.
or yeah.
And it really
There's no
isn't
competition.
that. It's not competition at all. It's
Yeah.
just a river. And it's kind of like a trail, like a really cool adventure trail. And it's just kind of like, oh, Eila, have you seen the waterfall yet? You're like, no, I haven't been there yet. I'm like, oh, God, you're going to love it. The waterfall's amazing. Wait till you see it.
Yeah.
It's like that, you
Yeah.
know, when you're somewhere else than the other person, or, you know, we're just at different spots in the trail and on the journey, and there's no better thans or worse thans or judgments. We are all literally one. So
Right.
it's and here goes to here's for all of my left brain my listeners here. Okay, here's your scientific moment. We are living in a hologram. So if it's a hologram, a true hologram means that you can cut up that hologram into a million pieces, and that one little tiny piece is going to have all the information and reflect all the information of the entire whole hologram, right? So we're in a hologram, and we fragment with pain and trauma as souls. So when I talk about picking up your pearls, what am I talking about? Go pick up your fragments, your pieces that fragmented through pain and trauma, get them and retrieve them, all your fractals, so that you can come back together and put back this crystal to become a whole hologram of your own, so that you as the very small piece can be whole and reflect the entirety of the entire thing, because there's nobody out there and I am that I am.
Thank you. Let people breathe on that for a second. When we were talking just a minute ago about we all go through things, one of the things that I'm doing right now with this, putting a poetry book together, is I'm reading. I think I have like 40 poems over the past 8 years or something. And I keep rereading them because I want to edit them and make them nicer, but I'm rereading them. And I'm getting insight into myself. And it's really a wonderful personal development thing to do for anybody out there who likes to write down things, your experiences. I like to do it in the form of poetry because I don't, even though I like to talk a lot, I don't like to talk a lot on paper. I don't like a lot of unnecessary words. You too?
I'm the same, and I'm a poet.
Yes, you are. I know. Yeah, and it's funny that in short stories, it's like I want to get in the point and I want to get out of the point and then get on to the next point. And so if you're listening, obviously, use the arts as a way to help yourself develop. Like you're talking about left and right brain. That's part of it, is using the arts as a way to express what language maybe doesn't. You know, for me, poetry is like its own language. Dance is its own language. Coloring with colors and drawing things, even if you don't have to be an artist. You just go and you play with colors, and it expresses something for you that no other form of left brain work can express.
In fact, you know, when I came out of my very traumatic year-long abuse experience 15 years ago, I holed up in my van I was renting on my friend's land here, overlooking Maui, and for 6 months I made my album, My Poetry,
Oh.
collected from years
Mm-hmm.
as a project. And every time I wanted to go to my I'm Not Worthy or some other place, I'd go, nope, I'm doing the project. I'm doing my album, doing the album. That became my healing art. That I poured everything into that for 6 months. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to create relationships. I'm not doing anything. I'm just healing and peeling away the layers and using mantras and all the tools I share with you guys. I
Right.
actually used to get here myself. And so that's what I did. And my art, the pour away was the album. So if you have something that you love, like you're a woodworker or a project, whatever it is, whatever project you love, creating a project that becomes like your healing project, like this is what, whenever something else wants to pull you into it, instead of doing that thing, if you're healing from a relationship, a broken heart, if you're, whatever it is, use your project to become like, I'm going to let this, and not like to ignore your problem, but to work through your stuff. Like, I'm going to breathe through myself, see myself, and use this to create more connection with myself in the process.
Yeah, and the magic of it all is that you don't know and you don't need to know how that works.
Yeah.
That's what art is to me.
There's no judgment.
You
There's
just
nothing.
you're either writing or dancing or drumming or playing music or even listening to music and getting lost in that. You don't know what it is exactly that's happening. You just know that you're listening each moment and following that, and it allows something that nothing else can really get to in the way that gets to it.
Yes, it's so, like we were saying, important to just open that creative brain. And I'm so blessed to have great opportunity to be a teacher of children and be able to share with kids in that age because they always keep you real. And so we were
Sure
doing
do.
some vision board artwork last Thursday, and literally I got into a project and it's still on my floor. I'm still working on it because
Nice.
it just got so fun.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I'm ready to create a vision board. So that's a great one to do if you've never done that out there. Simple, just grab some old magazines, some cardboard that you're about to recycle,
Yeah.
and some tape or glue, and sit down and just cut out cool images, cool words, and like what's resonating with you, and what do I want to look at each day and go, oh yeah, that's what I'm vibing, and
What
I'm
will
inspired.
what will inspire you?
I'm looking, what are you wanting to create? You vision it, like we were talking about before. Create that playbook. You're creating your vision of what I want to experience. And this doesn't necessarily just have to be like, oh, a house or a this or a that, but what do I want to feel? What do I want to experience in my reality? That's the kind of thing we can move into. So, oh, we have a question.
All right, hold on. Can I put you on?
We have someone coming on the air.
Hello?
Hi. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
This is our caller. Is this Blake Starr?
Yes, it's Blake Starr.
Thank you, Blake. What can we talk about for you today?
Sensitivity.
Yeah.
Sensitivity in which way?
Me being a male during this time in our life, finding sensitivity has been like a big sort of hurdle when you're running around the track and you're trying to compete and you have to go over a hurdle
Mm-hmm.
to keep going, to win the race, to be sensitive.
Okay.
As an artist, myself being an artist, I am compelled to share sensitivity with clarity. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's
Yes,
thank you
beautiful.
so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Thank
I
you
was
so much.
just waiting for the next piece. Okay, so I have some words for you.
All right. Michál is going to talk. Do you want to say more before or stay on the line, or are you
Stay
complete?
on the line. No, I think
Okay,
we should
stay on the
Yeah.
line. Okay,
Stay
go
on
ahead.
the line. I want to
Go ahead.
talk to you.
Go ahead.
So this is what I want to say. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you as a man. Thank you for doing the work and for embodying compassion and sensitivity. It is an honorable path. And I am so grateful to all of the men who are doing this work. It is harder as a man. And the reason why is you are processing the DNA of all the war, the violence, the atrocities that have happened in this earth field. You're processing it for your fathers, your grandfathers, your ancestors. The inversions that happened here were deep and long. So the male energies have a very difficult time. The ego is so ingrained and it wants to take you. And so literally, I thank you and commend you for doing the work. And I know it's hard. So ancestral work is what I would say is of utmost importance for the men out there, is to work with the ancestral releasing of the programs and ancestry in the line. Because what's so cool is I've been having so many phenomenal sessions lately where we are doing that, and we are releasing the ancestral lineages through to the other side of the veil. And literally, because now is the time, we've been holding on to this pain for millennia.
Well, that's very correct. That is. Another thing that I've noticed in myself during this whole process is I have found myself going to cemeteries, and it's not a cemetery that has my family, or it's just that I'm compelled to go to a cemetery and look at the gravestones and feel the time and the presence of those people that are still with us. Okay, and we've been on this planet for a long time, and I feel that the cemeteries are starting to take over. Now, we as beings, we as love and light, I feel that during war created by man, needs to take a step back and look at what we've done to Earth, what we've done to each other. And I'm compelled to look onto my ancestry as with my DNA as being Irish, Swedish, French. I do. I kind of look at those things and try to address it through my art, and how I can convey an image through my art that's colorful and happy and joyful, and where there isn't this sort of cemetery kind of thing going on.
Well, the cemetery, I think, is actually an amazingly potent place. I was attracted to cemeteries all the time as a child.
Really?
I used to go to cemeteries and ride bikes to the cemetery and go do similar to what you're saying. I loved going to gravestones. And I think it's actually just like a deeply beautiful thing that you're doing to honor the energy of what's come and gone, and literally to heal it. Because that's part of what we're saying is the stories are over.
Right.
So all of us we've all been those people, like you said. That's just us again and again, and we have all done these stories over and over and over, and we've been looping again and again. So guess what? Stories are done. So that's what we get to say is like, okay, the stories are done. So when you're going to those cemeteries, you're, in essence, I feel like you're going, hey, whoever's ready to let go, I honor you. Go home. We're done. That could be part of your prayer, and everything can just be a prayer. In essence, you just, when you're with your words, you were doing it with your art, but also with your conscious mind. Say out loud, ancestors, whoever ready to go, whatever energies I've been carrying, I release you and allow you to go home. Like, we get that opportunity now. So we are all divine creators. And as we talk about, like, you're a lighthouse, so you get to claim your own divinity and claim it. Like, ancestors, I set you free. We heal you. We claim it now and we release it. And, it's just a choice. We're all no, you're not alone. That's important.
Very
We're
much so,
all
yeah.
being confronted with challenges every moment, every day. And the absolute necessity.
I don't feel alone at all. That's the beauty of it.
Mm.
I feel like I'm sort of channeling this information from, the circle.
Mm-hmm. Well, beautiful. So you're right where you need to be, and that feels good, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
No, it's great because 96.1 FM, Kohala.
I'll let it go. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
we can talk to each other. We can be in that light. We can share, feelings and emotions and words and poetry and
Art.
artistic expression. And, where we live. Are you kidding me?
I'm so blessed.
Yes.
So blessed.
Yeah, we're holding a lot of light out here on the Big Island.
We sure are. And so we're so grateful to be able to all be here together, shining the light and giving thanks and enjoying the beautiful fresh air. And thank you for calling us today,
Yeah,
Blake.
thank
we
you so much,
appreciate
Blake.
you calling in and listening and sharing. And blessings to you. Keep shining and radiating.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Aloha.
Aloha. You're listening to KNKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala. Well, it is 4 o'clock, and I'm not being crazy about time today because my show is next. So what difference does it make?
Well, there you go. Look
I can just overlap to whatever we need to do.
Whatever you want, can't you? You're in charge of your own reality. I love it. I love it. I love
usually
it.
I'm like getting nervous about this time, like way
really
earlier.
Is. She's kind of she's a little bit like a commander over here with the time.
Yeah.
So I am pleasantly surprised to know that she is just organically flowing today.
I'm like, you know what? So what if we go over? So it's a little bit longer and it's all good. It was lovely to have Blake call and share some deep experiences that he's having. I see him weekly because we play tennis together, and
beautiful.
That was something new. I hadn't heard from him before, and I've been to many a cemetery myself, just looking at the names, and there is that honoring of somebody who's gone before you. And although I don't ever plan to be in a grave, I'm not a believer in burial stuff, but there are all these people who have been buried in the past, so it's there, and it's kind of an interesting thing to consider.
It is. And also just, again, to all the men out there,
thank
you. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for pushing through yourselves, the ego. I have some amazing male clients that I'm so proud of, and I've gotten to watch that process up close, personal.
Yeah, and that maybe they need to know that it is hard in a different way than it is for you or me. And I'm sure I was a man in another life, and
definitely
went through some stuff there, and
but we chose to be women in this life, and I actually for this reason, to be honest, I think my soul chose it because it actually is a little easier, I think, because all the things I just told you guys is, for the men, you're processing a lot more of the pain through the lineages of the patriarchal lines. And so that is a lot to process, and the amount of brainwashing and programming around being a man and, act like a guy, and you don't do this, and men are like, all
man
that.
Up.
I mean,
How about man
There's
up?
been so much male programming that's a lot to peel away. So I encourage all the men out there, keep doing it. You are amazing, and you are an incredible, vibrant being that can be anything you want, not just act like a man. You can be whatever kind of being you want to be, and we fully support you in radiating your divine wisdom.
What more could you say?
Not a lot.
I think it's time to go now.
Yes. I think
How do you
it's
feel?
time to go. I feel good, and I feel like to everybody out there, I say the word of the month is implement. Implement.
There you go.
Go forth, implement, and make a choice. Am I choosing love, or am I choosing fear?
Yeah, and that requires awareness. So make sure you're in your awareness.
Be here
Make sure you open your awareness to, if you're having some experience that feels very difficult, look at that awareness. Is there love here? Is there fear here? Where am I? So that you can sort through that and get to where you want to be.
And remember, all you got to do is close your eyes.
Close your eyes and breathe.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Aloha.